So Merlin sent me a list yesterday. And it's a pretty interesting list. Gotta find it here. There's lots of scrolling involved. Okay. So did you know, and I have not fact checked this, so we'll see.
So it's on Merlin if it's
on Merlin if this is wrong. Supposedly, Jeff Foxworthy's in-laws live in Derby. Do you know who Jeff Foxworthy is?
Yeah.
The comedian?
Blue collar comedy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah. So he's got his thing is you might be a redneck if. And that's
right.
that's his little tagline. Well, he's got a number of things that are like that, but for Kansas. And so I'm going to read you a couple of them.
Okay.
If your town has an equal number of bars to churches, you might live in Kansas.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's accurate, I'd say.
Yep. He specifically mentions Hays, Kansas, but I don't know if that's correct. If it's a number, I mean, it is a college town.
Has more bars than the average Kansas town.
Yeah, probably.
Per capita. But I have no idea if that's true.
If you know several people who have hit a deer more than once, you might live in Medicine Lodge, Kansas.
Yep.
That could probably be anywhere in Kansas, really, any small town.
We have deer.
Yep. If you often switch from heat to AC in the same day and back again, you might live in Kansas.
Accurate. Mm-hmm.
If you can drive 65 miles per hour through 2 feet of snow during a raging blizzard without flinching, you might live in Kansas. That's me.
I don't know if I can do it without flinching. I mean, it is terrifying.
If you see people wearing camouflage at social events, including weddings, you might live in Kansas.
No shame. No shame.
Oh, shoot. This one's fun. This one's interesting. If you carry jumper cables in your car, which you always should, if you carry jumper cables in your car and your girlfriend knows how to use them, you might live in Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like that is an expectation we have.
Yeah. If you know all 4 seasons, which is almost winter, winter, still winter, and road construction, you might live in Kansas.
I feel like residents of northern states may have
northern
a problem
states
with us.
may have a better grasp on that one.
Because we actually do have a spring, summer, and fall.
Yep. I don't know. This one is interesting. If you know Labor Day weekend as the redneck Christmas, you might live in Kansas.
I'm going to need somebody to break that down for me because I don't.
So there are actual redneck festivals that people hold. Like I think there's one at Canopolis where
of course there would be
like,
one at Canopolis.
It's like tacky is a theme. Oh. So it's the cutoff jorts, it's the boots with the jorts, it's the,
new boot kicking or
new boot goofing.
Goofing, that's it.
New boot goofing. It's the, tacky of tacky, if you can think of it. And it's a whole party, it's a whole weekend.
There you go.
Yeah.
I might come in with new boots on Monday. Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it usually is on Memorial or Labor Day weekend. Kind of depends. What else here? There's a couple others that I thought were funny. I don't understand this one. Maybe you do. If your dad's suntan stops at a line curving around the middle of his forehead, you might live in Kansas.
Wait, where's the ball cap?
Oh, that makes sense. I did not get that the first time that I...
At least that's how I'm interpreting it.
There's one more. If you find 0 degrees to be a little chilly, you might live in Kansas. Or...
I will say, like, we go to Kansas City fairly regularly, and I don't quite understand it because in the winter... Salina is about 10 degrees colder than Kansas City. And in the summer, it's about 10 degrees warmer than Kansas City. It's more extreme out here than I sometimes realize, the temperature
Yeah.
and the weather in general.
There's nothing to break it up.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. But anyway, that is You Might Live in Kansas.
Yeah. Well, if any listener out there has some other, I already forgot what is it called? You might live in Kansas.
Jeff Foxworth. You might
might
be a redneck, or you might live in Kansas. The other one would be, you might live in Kansas if you say it's not the heat, it's the humidity.
That is me.
Or it's 100 degrees outside and the wind is, blowing 30 plus miles an hour. And you're like, man, I'm glad we have that breeze. I'm like, that is not a breeze. That is, we're losing a canopy.
I do think we as Kansans have accepted the wind as part of our fate in a way that other states have not fully done.
We just had a conversation with a gal from New York. She spends her time in New York and in LA, and she goes, "Yeah, I asked the guy, does it always blow like this?" And he goes, "Oh, this is nothing." Like, no, yeah.
Yes, it's pros and cons.
Yeah. So there you go. Well, our guest today is a Kansan, from Kansan, born and raised in Kansas. But he has a really varied background of, living in different countries and states and
expectations and boxes.
Yes.
He kind of does his own thing, but welcomes people from all walks of life to come and talk. And yeah, he's a great guy.
So without any further ado, here is James Bowden. Sup? How's it going?
Looking good. I like the.
You're looking pretty
black
snazzy
shirt.
today.
Yeah.
It's custom.
Oh, look at you.
Ooh.
Oh,
wow. Nice.
Looking good.
Very good.
All right, so let's see. I think you're probably the tallest person we've ever had in that chair.
Oh, my golly.
So you know how this works. So probably right there. Feel free to move it.
About right there.
Yeah.
Yep. That's looking
Whoever
good.
it's not in. So how's it going?
Pretty good.
Good.
Everything's beautiful this morning.
Yeah.
Great Monday. Getting ready to go out and do some farm work and have some fun. And
Awesome. Well, for our audience who doesn't know who you are, can you introduce yourself for us?
Sure. My name's James Bowden, and I am a local Kansan, Salina, born and raised. We've been here in Kansas for quite some time. My family's farm was started back in 1871. Kind of.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been in our family for quite some time. Around the time folks were settling the area, and we've been doing that ever since in some iteration or another. And I think, the fifth or sixth generation to be on the farm, working the land, raising animals, and just being a Kansan.
Yeah. So you have a very I don't know what the word, for some reason eclectic comes to my mind, but that's not the word that I want to use. But you have a great background of, you used to work for the Land Institute. You have your master's, right? Yeah. Can you go through your education?
Yeah, sure. Educated right here in USD 305.
Prior to you, yeah.
Really the foundation of it all. And I went to Bethany for undergrad. I got a chemistry degree at Bethany, and between my undergrad and my master's, I took some time. I went down and lived in South America, in Chile, for 6 months.
That. Oh my gosh!
I worked in the pharmaceutical company in McPherson for a few years, and then I also joined the Peace Corps and was living in Panama for 2 years. So came back, started working at the Land Institute, got a master's in agroecology at the University of Minnesota, and I've been working in regenerative or perennial agriculture for the last 8 or 9 years now. And then, of course, agriculture in general for most of my life. So
one, why the undergrad in, you said chemistry?
Mm-hmm.
What got you interested in that?
I just like the sound of the word,
Yeah?
honestly.
Okay, that's fair.
Wow.
Growing up, we used to pull things out of the bathroom sink cabinet and just start mixing them.
You were that kid.
It wasn't a good idea, but
You were that kid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
The thought that came to mind was you were Breaking Bad before Breaking Bad, but that's probably not a good analogy. So why the transition between chemistry and then agroecology? Or do they fit together and I just don't know
I think
it?
it's just kind of following passions.
Yeah.
Finding things that I'm really drawn to and want to pursue, and then getting the courage enough to go after them and figure out what that's all about.
Okay.
Remind me, what were you doing in Chile again?
I was doing restoration work at what is now the Patagonia National Park. They were converting a 20,000 head sheep ranch and 5,000 head cattle ranch into kind of the connecting piece between two other parks to make it, I believe I want to say it's South America's largest national park. I don't know that that's completely true, but it's definitely Chile's largest national park.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the distinctions you have on our podcast is that you are the first brother of another.
That's true.
Carl from our leadership episode. I don't remember which one that was, but
we've done too many now.
You guys are brothers, but you're very unique. You're very different from
That's
each
true.
other.
You don't even look alike.
But one of the things I love about you guys is that you're hard to put in a box.
Yes.
You have these interests and these things that seem a little bit contradictory to me. Like you're a farmer, you're and a rancher, but you're also an environmentalist. Can you, I'm not saying that those things have to be opposed, but I think in a lot of people's brains they are.
I think farmers have the potential to be the best environmentalists out there because they are the ones that are engineering their environment. And when they are thinking about how they want to pursue their operation, they can incorporate those different ideas into what they're doing. And so I don't think those are necessarily opposed to each other. In fact, I think they work pretty well together. So,
so the Peace Corps, you said you spent some time in the Peace Corps. Now that's a departure from environment focus, right?
Yeah. Well, no.
What'd you do with the Peace Corps?
So it's a departure from normal routine. It was actually very much environment focused.
Okay.
I was working in sustainable agriculture, specifically cacao production, agroforestry, and that was I think that it all weaves together.
I will never forget when I moved to McPherson. I had a housewarming party, and you brought me a chunk of legit cacao, chocolate, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this, so I had to learn real quick on. I don't even remember what I know I used it, but I just don't remember how.
Well, that's what my community was known for, was its chocolate production. So I loaded up a Osprey backpack with about 50 pounds of
literally pure chunks.
How did U.S. Customs deal with this when you came?
I don't know how I got through, honestly. I mean, they were literal bricks, in my backpack.
Literally.
I was like, oh, this is going to be rough.
Wow. Man.
Oh shoot.
I'm trying to
sustainable grain or sustainable ag, for those who have zero idea what that is, can you give us a brief description of
You're
what
asking
that
about
is?
Sustainagrain.
Sustainagrain, yeah.
Sustainagrain.
Sustainagrain?
Yeah.
Well, it's a sustainable ag, sustainagrain. It's all about trying to do agriculture in a way that can continue into the future, kind of create longevity in our food system, and make sure not to degrade our environment whether it's the soil or our water or plant and animal life. That's kind of the basis of sustainable farming. And sustaining grain is directly related to the food system because we're trying to take grains that are beneficial to our environment and then get them into the food system so that while people are eating, they're kind of supporting all the efforts that are going into maintaining our ecosystems.
Cool. Okay.
And is this a business or a nonprofit or?
This is a business, yes.
And it's your business.
It's a business that I am a big part of. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So kind of changing lanes here. We know your background now. A big part of what we talked to your brother about is how your guys' childhood, like you grew up in the city, but you also grew up on a farm. And so how is your upbringing maybe a little different in that you guys are kind of two sides to the same coin of you guys are very different. How like
he ended up living in Wichita.
Yeah. And you here, which is great. And you guys have very different I guess career aspirations, but you're still a great leader in the things that you do. I guess I don't know what
compare and contrast yourself with your brother.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I was trying to not say it so bluntly, but
No,
yeah,
fine.
that's
No,
what
that's
what it
fine.
is.
I think that we both find something that we're passionate about, and then we pursue it unrelentingly. And I think that's really important. I think that I was just thinking about this earlier. A couple things, actually. One, you're right that we are two sides of the same coin. I listened to the episode. He said that, he's a wildlife biology person. I pursued veterinary for a time. And so we're both kind of interested in those same things. We just take different paths and kind of diverge from each other. I also think that our brains think differently. I think Carl is very much a black and white thinker, and I'm more of a gray area. I think I think there's nuance to things where I think he has kind of an idea of this is how it goes and this is how it doesn't go. But yeah, I think his testimony was fairly accurate in there. But yeah, I think that this area, Salina, Gypsum, Kansas, has shaped us to become who we are. And, he's very passionate about leadership. I'm very passionate about the environment and justice and making sure that community is brought into the mix to make sure everybody's, thriving where they are. So
this episode is sponsored by Renaissance Cafe. Serving Northern Italian cuisine prepared with a fresh, contemporary influence, the Renaissance Cafe is one of Kansas's favorite restaurants. Whether you're planning a romantic dinner date, a family celebration, or an intimate meal with friends, the Renaissance provides a unique dining experience with an old-world atmosphere. Open Thursday through Saturday evenings, the Renaissance Cafe is located just south of Salina in Assyria, Kansas. Visit renaissancecafeassyria.com to book your reservation today.
Leadership-wise, what other organizations are you involved in that you're really passionate about or have been involved in? Because you've been involved in a number of different things.
Oh, well,
You've pulled me into a number of different things.
I know. I'm pretty involved in just about everything. But my current involvement, I'm on the board of the Salina Innovation Foundation.
Yep.
I've been very vocal and advocated quite a bit for local food and trying to improve our local food system in one way or another. And then I am also the president of the Salina County chapter of the Kansas Farmers Union. And so advocating both in our area at the state level, and then I've also been out to DC a few times to do some advocacy at the State House. So it's been really fun, really cool experiences, and got to meet some really cool people.
How do you balance that with everything you have to do on the farm?
I'm lucky to have parents that put up with me being gone. It takes more than just one person, and I know it's hard on my dad. It's hard on me when he's not around, and it's it's really an all hands on deck kind of thing. But they've kind of allowed me to go out and have these experiences, which are really foundational for who I am. When I went to Panama, I learned how to speak Spanish. And so, they always say in Peace Corps to bring back what you learned where in Panama and then share it with your own community. And just the other day, I was selling oats by the bushel, and somebody showed up to my house that didn't speak English. And I was like, oh, ¿te hablas español? And he's like, well, yeah. And we just had a whole conversation. I had probably an hour's worth of conversation with this guy who didn't speak any English, but was super happy to sit there and chat with me in Spanish and talk about, what, his life and what my life is like on the farm. And it was great.
When a lot of people see kind of industrial agriculture and they see environmental concerns as opposing forces, like I mentioned earlier. And I agree with you that that's not necessarily the reality of the situation. But I do think that there is still a divide between a lot of the people at the forefront of kind of where agriculture needs to go to be more sustainable and people that are deeply involved in industrial agriculture today. And it strikes me that people like you that have a foot in both camps are critically important in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years to kind of plot out for people the opportunity that exists between these two fields. So I guess I'm curious, do you feel lonely at all? Or do you feel like there's a lot of people like you out there that are also kind of bridging that gap and trying to bring these two groups of people into alignment?
I actually think that there's more in common with folks than people believe. Even folks that I've kind of butted heads with out in the rural areas. I've heard them say some things that are even seem more radical than what I say sometimes. I'm like, well, you guys are totally about the environment. Like, they're with it, and
Good.
I think it's important for us to acknowledge that because they're the ones that are doing a lot of the work, and we can sit here on another side and criticize what they're doing, but really they're the ones that are having that impact. So we need to bridge that gap and figure out how to communicate, how to use the same language, and figure out some solutions to these issues.
One thing that I see that both sides have in common is a real pride and interest in the land. Like they believe in taking care of the land. And that's kind of, it's obvious when you're listening to an environmentalist talk that they're interested in sustaining the land, but it can be, humbling to hear a farmer talk about, well, I'm the 4th, 5th, 6th generation farmer to farm this land. And yeah, I want it to be, kept up and want it to be good.
Well, you have that connection. You have this deep history with a place. And I think I have a kind of a, I don't know, interesting view on that whole farmer 5th, 6th generation. I think we should be promoting all farmers from whether you've just started yesterday or whether your family's been there since the get-go. We need to be supporting all farmers and recognizing that they're really doing the work to try to create something on their land. So I'm very, humbled to be part of that old guard farmer crew, but I also think we need to be giving support to all these newcomers that really need to get involved. I mean, we used to have a huge percentage of farmers in the U.S., and we're down to next to nothing comparatively. And so we've lost a lot of that connection to the land because people have gone to the city, and to their point, a lot of people go to the city because that's where they're able to create a living for themselves, make things happen, have kids, families, and things. But it's really taken away from that deep connection, deep history with the land that people once had.
Going back to Sustainagrain, could you just describe what it is you guys do? Like, are you selling products or?
Yeah, sure. So right now we primarily work with Kernza perennial grain. Kernza is a grain that was developed here in Salina. First new grain in 10,000 years. Well, at least a few thousand years anyway. So very special, very unique to have this here in Kansas. And what's really important about it is that as opposed to an annual grain, you prep the ground once and then you plant it and then you can harvest it and then it's already there. It's just going to keep growing back and you can keep harvesting for several years. Where with an annual grain, you have to prep it every single year. You have to till the ground, you have to apply fertilizer, herbicide, and all those steps can jeopardize the food, essentially the food system that you're creating there on your farm. So if you till the ground, that creates this opportunity for soil erosion. And then if you're applying large amounts of fertilizer, well, then you have this opportunity for nitrogen runoff, which can then get into the water. And so there's all these different things that can have negative side effects. And Kernza is one of those solutions that can kind of battle some of those issues.
So from the farmer perspective, pros would be less input costs.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's probably the main pro. And the main con would be just slightly less yield.
Slightly less yield. Some of the positive things about Kernza is, it already came to the United States over 100 years ago as a forage crop. And so regardless of anything that's happening with the grain, it's still a good animal feed. And anytime you can plant something that's perennial, that's going to be good for your soil. And in general, I think Kernza is cool because it's kind of it's a hopeful crop. One you can think about and say, you know what, we've got a chance here for our environment. We can plant this, we can get it into our restaurants and into our pantries, and every time we eat this thing, we're creating hope for the future. So
excuse me. Can't talk today.
Drink water.
This has nothing to do with anything that we've been talking about. Maybe a little. But do you feel like sometimes people put you in a bubble and they make assumptions about your personality and who you are?
I mean, I have long hair. It could go either way. Some people think I'm one side of the political spectrum. Other people think I'm the other side of the political spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody puts me in a box, and I don't subscribe to the box model.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
I am who I am because of the experiences that I've had, and I see things only because I've interacted with those things and gained perspective on them, and that's why I have some of the viewpoints that I have. And I'm very much someone that I feel like people should feel safe to talk to about different things. I try to be respectful, even though I very often don't agree with folks' opinions, but I will respect them and listen and try to find the value that are in those opinions. And so
Ask A Kansan is sponsored by Cohort Digital, your partner in media strategy and advertising placement. From social media, search, and streaming video to billboards, magazines, and broadcast TV, the experts at Cohort can help you navigate the ever-changing advertising landscape. With more than 75 years of combined experience, they'll build a custom media campaign to get your message seen in all the right places by your target audience. Learn more at cohort.digital. So, Cindy, we've used Cohort for several different projects for Feely, and it's been very successful and really pleased with the information. Yep. Lisa does a great job.
Yeah, both Feely and Ask A Kansan, we've used both. Basically, we give them the creative and they really hone in on getting it seen by people. And the best part is you get the results in front of you. Mm-hmm. Like we got an email from Alyssa and her team yesterday, and it was like, hey, this is what's performing. This is what's not performing. These are the changes we suggest. And like, it's really like, they take the work out of the data piece that some people don't really get, and it's great.
And I love, there's a lot of organizations in this space doing this kind of work that are just kind of checking a box. Yep. But that's not Cohort. They're always bringing their creativity to the task and surprising us in the ways that they find opportunity for our marketing dollars online.
Yep. So make sure to go to the website, cohort.digital. There's no .com. It's just cohort.digital. And learn more. People who probably don't know your background of like being in the Peace Corps, traveling, all your education, your work history, all of this, people just don't know unless they have a conversation. And I feel like that can be, what is my point that I'm trying to make?
One of the things I appreciate about James is that he's very open to having conversations.
And I think that that's kind of where I was going is you are super easy to talk to. And I think that's a really amazing quality about you that a lot of people maybe there's a word that I'm thinking of, and it's Monday morning, people. You normally know the words that I'm trying to say.
James is the kind of person that you can have a conversation with, and that's a valuable
people don't
quality.
really get it. And so, if you ever see James out in the wild, just have a conversation with him.
Yeah, just walk up. Well, I'll talk to you.
Now everyone's gonna. Now James is like, great, all the crazies are gonna come up.
That's been happening. It's all good.
I have a super nerdy question.
Okay, go.
Okay, so I don't really know much about agronomy and about ecology and these things. A while back, we did a project for Land Institute that involved an interview with Wes Jackson, the founder of the Land Institute, and he kind of he kept slipping in that he thought the future wasn't just perennial agriculture, but it was perennial polyculture. As opposed to monoculture. Yeah. Could you just describe kind of for the audience, maybe the audience that doesn't already know the difference between mono and polyculture and your own opinions on if that is part of the future?
So a monoculture is basically having the same of everything. So when you look out and you see a field of wheat and it's just this expansive, monotone, but beautiful, crop out there, that's a monoculture. A polyculture is planting other species into the mix. It can be as few as one other species. It can be as many as 11 other species. But the polyculture usually implies that the crops have some sort of symbiotic relationship or are serving different purposes for being there, whether it's providing nitrogen to the companion crop or releasing phosphorus from the ground, or it could have all these different things that it does for itself or for the ground or for the other crop. But the idea is that it's based on the Kansa prairie, and that it's not just this big blue stem grassland out there. There are there's a wide variety of different plants and things happening that all kind of feed into the whole network and the functioning of that network.
I could draw some corollaries between that and the value of diversity more broadly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks for sharing that, because I kind of knew what it meant, but it was good to, especially the symbiotic kind
Sure.
of nature.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
fully get that before.
Yeah, I almost wore it this morning. I have a button-up shirt that has Kernza down. It goes Kernza, alfalfa, Kernza, alfalfa. We call it the inner crop top. And
It's great.
I guess next time.
time.
Oh, shoot.
Next
Austin's
time.
face right now is really funny. If you had a message for all Kansans, what do you think it would be, or what would it be?
You know, I've thought about this a lot. I think I thought about it probably quite a bit during Peace Corps. I think the biggest message is when you're listening to somebody's idea, your response should generally be, I support you. Just letting them know that you're there for them, not necessarily being critical of what they're doing, but just giving them that extra boost of confidence to get out there and do what they want to do. Because I don't think, I mean, it's always helpful to get some feedback and things, but in those moments where they're sharing an idea, I think people just need that extra boost and that uplift of confidence in what they're doing. And so I think more people should be readily saying, I support whatever endeavor that they're thinking about doing, instead of the whole crab in a bucket mindset pulling people down. I want better for my community. I want people to, when people are doing really cool things, I want the community to say, hey, that's really cool. I'm going to support you in any way I can. Because that's how we move forward. That's how we become a thriving society, is by supporting each other.
Have you ever thought about running for political office?
I have.
He
run
has.
Yeah,
he did.
Remind me. What did
A couple
you run
years
for?
ago.
I ran for city commission.
Yeah.
That's right.
I've thought about running again. I got really close.
Yeah.
And the next spot up to getting it. And I've thought about running again. I really toyed around with it this year. I believe next year's my year. There's a couple offices that I've thought about, and I haven't decided which one would be the best to run for, but I'm definitely interested. Definitely ready to put my name in the hat at some point here in the near future.
Yeah, your willingness to support just people. I think that's what we need more of in leadership,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think if we can do that across the state, that's going to be really helpful for everyone.
I feel like this is such a great place to wrap, but I do have one more thing
Yeah.
I want to talk about. Okay. I was recently in France, both in Paris and then in a few more rural areas in France. And one of the things that struck me about their agriculture in those areas was how well they market, like, the minutia, like the individual farm. I mean, part of that is just like winemaking and stuff, but they also do that with other products within their kind of agricultural economy. And when I was reflecting on Kansas and our kind of agricultural economy, I feel like we don't do that quite as well. Like, we think of it more in terms of commodities and in, what are wheat prices today, which is probably the right thing. But one of the things that excites me so much about Kernza is it represents something a little bit more tangible, something a little bit more marketable that has a compelling story to tell. And so I'm just, take that as a leaping off point. What do you see in that?
That's so funny you bring that up. We were just last year, we had an event called Kernza in Kansas. And one of the things that came out of that is we were talking about the real specificity in the location and like Asiago cheese and champagne. Like Kernza is a Kansas crop, and so trying to find a way to market it that way, and maybe it can only be Kernza if it's in Kansas. I don't know, but it does add this kind of allure to it. Like you get kind of excited.
Wheat is sexy.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's going on a t-shirt. Oh, shoot.
No, that's awesome though. I really
Expect that
hope,
on our next merch line.
I hope you guys continue to
Send me
think
one.
like
I
this.
will send you one. Curious Kansan on the back. It just says "we" is sexy.
Get a lot of looks, I think.
Well, I don't know. Is that a good place to
I think that's a great place to wrap.
James, thank you so
Thank
much for your
you
time
so
today.
much.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to come in and chat, and just want to give a shout out to my Gypsum Nights out there. Gypsum's a really special place.
Yep.
We've got a lot of talent that comes out of there. 2 Olympians, a
Really?
power slap fighter. We've got folks that have been in office. Governor Graves has got land out there, and then there's also I believe it's the producer or former producer for Larry King Live is from out in that area. So
Did not know
shout
that.
out to
Now that's community pride right
I'm
there.
That
telling
is.
you. Just
That's
shout
awesome,
out to my hood out there. So
All I can't talk today. All I got is like the keyboardist from Click 5, I think is from Salina.
Hey, there's a lot of cool people from Salina. No. Well, thank you, James, and best luck. And let us know, in the future, how we can continue to help spread the message.
absolutely. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Want to spread your organization's message across Kansas? Consider becoming a sponsor. Ask A Kansan has a unique focus on Kansas and its people. By sponsoring our podcast, your organization can reach people from Canarado to Kansas City, Wichita to Washington, and all the great places in between. We have a variety of sponsorship packages available to fit your budget and needs. For more information, visit askakansan.com/sponsorships or call us at 785-571-9507. Thanks for joining us for that conversation with James. I almost said Carl. Man, for a minute. James and Carl. Our first brother set, sibling set. But James, his just varied background and the outlook that he has on community and being a voice and kind of, as you mentioned before, defying boxes. And I've known James for 5-6 years, maybe more than that. We met through Salina Area Young Professionals, and we're just going to the same things. And I mentioned how he has looped me into his other projects, where there is a fundraiser at the Salina Innovation Foundation here in town. And I was still working at Sunflower Bank at the time. And this is when I started really wanting to get into marketing and loving it and design work and all that. And he goes, hey, we desperately need someone to do all the social media and graphics and do all this for this big fundraiser. I'm like, I'll do it. I'm not great, but I'll do it. So I designed, all their flyers. I designed tickets. I made videos. I did like all these different things just because James looped me in, and I couldn't. And at that point, like Mary Landis at the temple and some other people on that committee for this event, because they were raising funds. It was a Raise the Roof is when they needed to replace the roof,
right.
and so we put on a big concert at the temple, and it was a lot of fun, but it was one of those things I was like, dang it, James, once I got in it. But it was a good experience.
One of the best things about that campaign, excuse me, one of the best things about that campaign was that, so the temple, if you're not aware, is this giant building in Salina, and it was built of stone, like it's just
because it's the
concrete.
third rendition of the Masonic temple here in Salina. The first 2 burned down.
Or one collapsed.
One collapsed.
Because they didn't build it. They built it out of wood instead of concrete or something.
Something.
The whole thing. Anyway, so
third
the
time's the
top
charm.
of this, the roof is round, is like ringed in cast iron gargoyles.
Yep.
And, that's not common in Salina.
No.
But so part of this campaign was if you gave a certain amount of money, you got to like design a hat or a head covering for the gargoyles. And so I think still to this day, if you drive
They
by,
still do it.
if you look up there, you'll see some interesting hats on the gargoyles.
Mm-hmm.
I just think
Yeah.
it's fun.
But James has that ability to just talk
Yeah.
to someone, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm such a believer in now. Like I am such a. He could probably have his own cult if he really wanted to, and I know that's
Didn't
not.
expect it to go that direction.
I know that's not like probably what you think about it, but in that way of how he is able to bring his leadership skills into conversations is what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm probably in no place to give other people advice, but if you're out there and you're, well, I guess just general life advice that I would give to somebody is that surround yourself with people that aren't just happy with making you comfortable or keeping you in comfort,
Oh yeah.
but with people that will make you uncomfortable and put you in things that are stretching your capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And sounds like that's what James maybe did for you
Yeah.
was expect more out of you than maybe you were expecting from yourself
Probably.
at that moment. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah. To add on to that is yes, surround yourself with those people, but also be open to that. That's the other hard part is when someone tries to push you and stretch you, you need to understand, oh, maybe this is a challenge that I need to get over.
Wow.
So
I'm thinking of people in my life that have done that for me. Yeah. Wow.
So there you go. There's your philosophical. So, yeah.
Okay. So I have a segment. You have a segment.
I have a segment. I'll go first.
Okay.
Mine's story related. So Merlin, this would be the video that I sent you. So I'm going to show you this video and then I'll tell you about it. This, for context, this is at Exploration Place with my kids.
What do we think about if I put one right here? Is that far back enough for you to lay down? No. No? Does it need to be farther back?
Okay, so basically what's happening is these two teenagers were just trying to build a seat. So the whole thing is it's this exhibit that you put rods in and out, and you're supposed to design a seat for an airplane out of comfort or structure or things like that. That's what's happening. So they were building this, and Maverick, our 7-year-old, is always curious what other people are doing. And Madeline's the same way, but she's a little bit more reserved sometimes. So they go over and they have him sit, and this went on for like 5 minutes. And this is what I love about this is for our human, or what do we call this? Humans in Kansas moment of just these two teenagers going back and forth, and they're asking him like, "Hey, is this comfortable? Do you need some more support on your back right here?" And just having a conversation with this kid that randomly just walked up to him, and Madeline's just witnessing the whole interaction. And like, there's times where these kids are like standing here with their hands on their chins, their arms crossed, trying to figure out better ways to make this chair for Maverick. And it was just one of those moments that you just have to sit and watch and see what happens and try your hardest not to like get in it, because you're like, oh no, I don't know these kids. I don't know what language they're using. I don't know. And it was a pretty amazing moment. And then later we actually saw them leaving. We left at the same time they left with their parents. And so it was a
cool.
fascinating interaction.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It speaks highly of their openness, both your kids and theirs, that they connected in this way. And what a great mini advertisement for the Exploration Place.
Oh yeah, I will go on and on about the Exploration Place. I grew up going to the Exploration Place. I remember it being built. My grandparents lived in Wichita. I'm sure I could probably find a picture of us at Exploration Place, but I remember when, was it KSN, when the weather station used to be in Exploration Place.
I vaguely remember that now.
Yeah, so you could watch them. You could sit and watch them do the weather for the news if you went at certain times. And then when they weren't using it, you could go onto this green screen and they would pop it up to where you could tell the weather yourself. And they had a whole exhibit just on that. And it was so cool. And so being able to take my kids to something that I experience that is still, they're still doing the kids science shows. I remember going to the kids science shows. I can go on and on.
I just love that even the name exploration, we've been talking, full disclosure, we're recording several episodes today, so my brain is a little bit of a pond of different things, but we've been talking a lot about curiosity and that like exploration just invites people to come there and just do stuff and experience it, feel it for yourself. That's cool. I remember going there and seeing there's a plane exhibit where you can like change the amount of lift.
Yeah, that's still there.
That's cool.
There's things that are still there today that were there when I was a kid.
Wow. And I also remember just being inspired by the architecture because it's very unique for around here, at least.
Yeah.
Never been a building like.
And they're expanding it now.
And they're that unbelievable jungle gym that's going to be outside, millions of dollars on this playground. So exciting.
I'm excited. Anyway.
Okay. Well, it is now time for another rendition of our Kansas Cultural Arts Calendar. This is for the month of September and have some interesting ones for you this month. The first one will be coming to Topeka, September 5th through 7th, and this is the Huff and Puff Hot Air Balloon Rally. This will feature dozens of colorful hot air balloons rising into the morning sky and glowing at night during this dreamy event at Mount Hope Balloon Field. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
I did not know.
They're also going to have live music, food trucks, and tethered rides for those who want a taste of flight. Next will be September 6th is the Lenexa Spinach Festival. Celebrate Lenexa's leafy legacy as the farmer spinach capital of the world, with a festival full of cooking demos, retro recipes, and even a spinach recipe contest. It's a green good time with live music, heritage displays, and crafts for kids. And I believe on this one, there's a video on Lenexa's page for this that I think, if I remember correctly, spinach has some sort of tie to the city history.
That's what I'm looking up right now because I am struggling with this for a minute.
Maybe I don't know if there's any ties between Popeye and Lenexa, but I think he'd certainly fit right in. Yeah, that video.
There is one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spinach capital of the world. During the 1930s, thanks to the excellent spinach crops grown in the area. Okay.
So if you love spinach, you know where to go. Also on September 6th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. is Ori's Garlic Fest in Wichita. And if you thought garlic is just for pizza, pasta, not pizza, pasta.
You can put it on pizza.
True. Ori's Garlic Fest will blow your taste buds wide open. Hosted at Public at the Brickyard, this Wichita favorite features all things garlic. All things garlic. Can't speak.
I used to work with a gal that would drink garlic and ginger tea every morning.
And how bad was that breath, Sydney?
Let's just say no cubicle wall could withstand it.
When I was pretty young, we went to Sweden and we visited a restaurant that served nothing but garlic. Like every dish had garlic in it. So we had a garlic ice cream. And
no.
There you go. Yep. No, it was weird. It was weird. I wasn't into it. Coming up September 12th through 14th in McLouth. I apologize if I believe. McLouth. McLouth. I'm so sorry, residents of McLouth, if I'm pronouncing it wrong. They're having their annual Threshing Bee and Fall Festival. This is a step back in time with steam engines, wheat threshing, antique tractors, and old school family fun. Again, has live music, kids activities, and a classic car show. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I hadn't heard of that.
McLouth. McLouth.
McLouth. Yeah,
You're putting
I
an extra
should-
C in it.
I am. Oh no, McLouth.
MC.
You're right, McLouth.
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 We're probably still,
Yeah,
or it could be
I should've- we
McLouth
should've-
for all we know.
yeah, that's true. I should have asked Marcy. She would know. Sorry, another
Anyway,
test.
population 859.
Coming up September 20th and 21st is, I've been practicing, Bakoje Fall Encampment and Powwow in White Cloud.
Okay.
This is a sacred gathering of the Iowa tribe of Kansas and Nebraska featuring traditional drumming, intertribal dancing, and handmade crafts.
That'd be cool.
It's a powerful celebration of heritage and is open to all.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's important to note that there are a number of kind of cultural sensitivities with that one. So
Yeah.
you might just read into it a little bit if you want to go to it.
Mhm.
And we're hoping to cover that a little bit more for the podcast, potentially. In Frontenac,
Where are you finding these names?
September 20th and 21st is Festa Italiana, which this is a southeast Kansas town that turns red, white, and green for a full weekend of Italian food, music, and old world spirit. Expect sausage and peppers, bocce tournaments, and the warm hospitality of Kansas Italian American community. So Frontenac.
Frontenac.
I think I'm finally starting to get it. Frontenac. I'm stretching our pronunciation skills here on the podcast. Finally, for this month, on September 27th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., the Smoky Hill Museum here in Salina hosts their annual street fair. This family-friendly fair brings Salina's downtown to life with historical reenactments, pioneer crafts, live performances, and food trucks. It's all free, it's fun, and it's full of local pride. Some friends of the podcast have done chili bake-offs in the past. Or I think there is a chili
There's a
competition.
There's a chili cook-off.
Yeah. So hope you can make it. And as always, there is far more going on in the state than I can cover in one segment a month. So if you have any interest, please go and check out, various sources online. There's one that maybe I can link to in the show notes that I go to, and it has like literally dozens of events coming up.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right.
So that's it for another episode of Ask A Kansan. Thanks for tuning in.
And as always, you can always visit us at any of our socials or askakansan.com or info@askakansan.com.
I also want to say, if you have an idea of somebody you think should be on the podcast, we have a new web form on our website where you can go and submit people to be on the podcast, and we'll review those and ask some people to come on.
Yeah. And please make sure you get the okay from them before sending them our way.
Yeah, so we don't randomly slide into
Say,
their DMs.
hey, heard you want to be a guest. And they're like, I have never heard of you before.
No, that would be appreciated. We don't want to come across any creepier than we already are.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. See you later.
See ya.